Guys, did you know my favorite hormone, testosterone, starts to decrease around the age of 30, and production continues to drop about 1% per year? That's why our friends at Roman have formulated their own supplements with transparent and scientifically backed ingredients to support testosterone production. Roman's testosterone supplement is for anyone who wants to support their own body's natural function. Getting started is simple. Just go to GetRoman.com/Chael. You're going to receive $15 off your first order with free 2-day shipping. That's GetRoman.com/Chael. Eddie Bravo took a little bit of heat. Let me back up. So Eddie Bravo is Tony's coach, but specifically jiu-jitsu coach. Now, Eddie Bravo is extremely talented and he is extremely sincere. And this part of the story is very relevant. Back the tape up. Okay. Do you guys remember the time? Have you been fans long enough that there was moves that were happening, particularly on the ground, that nobody even knew the names of? I mean, do you remember where you were the first time you saw a omoplata? Do you know what an omoplata is even today? What about the first time you saw a go-go plata? Do you know what a go-go plata even is today? I believe Nick Diaz is the only one to ever pull off a go-go plata, at least on national television. It was his one fight he did in Pride. Could be wrong on that, but my point is still very valid. That there are some intricacies and there are some techniques, particularly when it comes to the rubber guard, that you will see for the first time when you see a great rubber guard player. This does spill over to a traditional guard player as well. You don't know what a move is until you know what a move is. So imagine you're in Joe Rogan's position and he's got to call these fights. Now the stand-up is pretty easy. Oh, he kicked him in the leg. Oh, he kicked him in the body. Oh, he punched him. Oh, he punched him with the left hand. That's pretty easy. But the intricacies to explain the techniques, the setups, and ultimately the manipulations that happen on the ground are a little bit more complex. I think we can agree to that. So back up. Joe Rogan and Eddie are very close, possibly best friends, very close though. And Joe Rogan was having a hard time calling some of the techniques as the sport began to rapidly advance as it pertained to the ground. So Joe went and talked to Dana and said, look, let's put Eddie, a master of these positions, a guy that's created and invented a lot of these positions, let's put him in the truck. The truck is a representative term. It is quite literally that. It is a truck, a great big tractor trailer that sits outside of the venue that runs every cord in the arena to it, and that is where the director actually runs the show. So industry term truck. Let's put Eddie in the truck on a microphone that feeds into my earpiece so that we're doing the playback. Eddie can tell me the names of these moves. He can educate me and I can educate the masses. Dana goes, great, that makes perfect sense. So this was a job, right? I mean, this was a job. They're doing 53 shows a year. Rogan was calling all of them, which means Eddie's going to all of them, which it's a full-time job. He's flying around. He's getting paid, participating in the production. Very real thing. Eddie stopped doing it. As good of a job as that was, as cool as that would be, I think you guys could really, that'd be pretty cool. If you're a fight fan, and now you're not only behind the curtain, you're working, you're participating in the pretty cool thing. Eddie said, I can't do it on nights that Tony fights. I cannot do my job. I must be with Tony in the back, and I must be part of the walkout, and I must be in his corner. Now, this is Tony Ferguson I'm talking about. To understand what a cool and loyal and gangster move that was by Eddie, you also have to understand the time frame, which is nobody in the world knew who Tony Ferguson or even what a Tony Ferguson was. He'd come through the Ultimate Fighter, so people saw it, but this guy wasn't a co-main event. This guy wasn't headlining shows. Tony Ferguson even came up through the undercard at one point, and this is the time period. So Eddie wasn't attempting to attach himself to some golden goose. It wasn't that case at all, but it was his guy, and he needed to be there for him, and that was it. Well, that didn't really work for all parties involved. They're going, hey, man, you can't take nights off. Nobody over here takes nights off. You're either the guy or you're not the guy. Eddie walked away from the job. He walked away from that position. I mean, how easy and how cool of a job would that be? You're in the truck behind the scenes. You're going to cool locations, some of them international. You're getting paid to do a pretty cool job. No, loyalty came first. So I have to offer you that because Eddie and Tony's relationship is something that is very pure. Now, back up to 249, or rather fast forward to 249. Tony's in there fighting. Eddie's in the cage. At one point, I believe it was in the 4th round, Eddie realizes things aren't going our way and time is running out. And he says to Tony, you might have to hit an Imanari roll. Now, an Imanari roll would be another technique that we would need Eddie Bravo to explain for us, but you guys may be familiar with it. It's what Ryan Hall hit on BJ Penn, which goes down as the greatest submission of the year. He won submission of the year for that technique. But it's a little bit of a desperation Hail Mary pass. But that was also the spot that Tony was in all fairness. Going into the 4th round, he's down 3 of them. Things aren't getting better. I don't really have a problem with Eddie suggesting it, whether you actually go for the Imanari technique or if it was more of a philosophy of, hey, we need to steal this one back. We're losing, we're behind, the clock's ticking, your eyes closed. Go big. Okay. Either way, because of the way that 249 was set up, where you can hear absolutely everything in the building, including Eddie's advice to Tony, people give Eddie a hard time. You know how that goes. Hey, welcome to the internet. Okay. But then Eddie weighs in on that on Joe Rogan's show. It's Joe, Brendan, Brian Callen, Eddie, and they're just talking about it. And, you know, those guys are all buddies and they all poke at one another. It's one of the things that's very fun when they're all on a segment. We're a little bit of a fly on the wall with the camera. We get to hear the things that are said. And Brendan poked at him a little bit, but Eddie just came clean. Eddie couldn't have been more open and honest. He said, guys, I have no business being in the cage. I am there for moral support. I am not an MMA coach. I'm not a head coach. I am a specialist. I have a relationship with Tony. We have gone on this journey together. This was a championship fight. Of course, I'm going to be there, but I didn't want to be in the cage. He also said, look, I have some vision issues. I lost my glasses that night. I was having a hard time seeing what was going on. Not to mention, I was a little bit insecure and apprehensive. I didn't want to be mic'd up, and I don't want to be in that cage. I'm not the head coach. I'm moral support. I accept that answer. I accept it fully. And you know what? Eddie's not wrong. He's not wrong in the least. Moving forward, he understands maybe where some of the weak spots were. Won't lose his glasses, for example, next time. He'll be there for moral support, for example, next time. But his sincerity and his purity, that's what a corner and that's what sport is all about.